All right, we should be live any second. There we go. Hey guys, this is Chris, and this is my channel, Bar911970. As always, thank you for taking the time to listen to what I have to say. And I wanted to give an update on the raccoon because actually a couple of people have actually asked about it. When I made the video a couple of days ago, I saw it that night. Literally after I made the video, I heard it in the backyard again. So I tried to get it, and it went into the crawl space, a section of the crawl space that there's just no way I could fit into. It would basically be the size of probably a 5-year-old could fit in there, so there was no way. So what I did was I left some food and water by the entrance, so this way it had the ability to at least have some food and everything. And then I didn't hear from it for a couple of days, and I figured it might have left, but I kept leaving the food out there, but it looked like it wasn't touched. So I went and used my flashlight to check the crawl space, and I could see all the way around there, and I didn't see it at all. So I figured, all right, I guess it must have went somewhere else. And then, sadly, we started getting a smell in our bedroom, like a really bad smell. We were wondering what it was, and it ended up that the raccoon. I didn't know this, but part of my basement, it's like my basement is like a quarter finished, and like literally 3/4 of it is unfinished, and parts of it are crawl spaces. It's just a weird configuration of whoever made this basement, and it ended up in one corner of the back of our basement there was I guess, a hole that was covered by boxes, so I couldn't see it. And the raccoon must have went into the hole, into the main part of the basement, where it basically probably fell down, so it couldn't get back out again, and ended up unfortunately dying. I had no idea that hole was even there, and especially with the raccoon with 2 broken legs, there would have been no way for it to crawl out. So unfortunately, the raccoon has passed on. We have this wonderful aroma we have to get rid of because we were wondering what the smell was and just was really bad. But I ended up trying to search for it in the crawl space of the basement, which was fun. I wouldn't recommend anybody having to do that, but unfortunately I found him. So I wanted to share that um, with those that ask, because a couple of people did ask, and I wanted to give an update. But for days I didn't see it at all, so I figured it must have just, crawled away and went somewhere else. But I mean, the way I look at it is, there are some people that will say, "Ah, it's just a rodent." Some people say, "Ah, it's a lower species, it doesn't deserve to live. Or, put it out of its misery." There were a lot of people. Some people said that I should kill it myself. Some people said, get it to a shelter and put it out of its misery. Some people said leave it alone. So I appreciate all the advice, and obviously people are going to have different mindsets. But my thing was, it happened late at night, so there was no animal control. And I actually tried searching for animal control places who might be able to take it. And they said because raccoons could potentially have rabies, no one's going to rescue it. So that thing would have been put to sleep no matter what. And to let it be traumatized by having somebody literally have to rope it because it was a crawl space, it would have been incredibly painful and scary for this animal. And then they would have ultimately put it to sleep anyway. I wanted to at least let it have a chance, because when I saw it, it definitely looked like it wasn't some new wound. It looked like it was living that way for a while, and it did look rather healthy. And like I said, if in case you're just tuning in the crawl space, there was a brick wall that separated the major crawl space to part of my main basement, which is 3/4 unfinished. A lot of it is filled with boxes and stuff from the previous owners we just can't really get to. Um, it somehow must have gotten through a hole that I didn't know was there, and it got stuck in the other part of the basement and unfortunately died. But I look at it this way. To me, all life is precious. Now, whether you agree with that or not, that's not for me to decide. I can only base things on what I feel. Other people's opinions are just as valid, but, people all have different ways of thinking of things. And I look at, to me, all life is precious. And if we ever get to the point where we feel we're either superior or inferior to something else, then it makes life trivial. So I don't regret my decisions. I definitely don't regret how I reacted when I saw it, because I just have a caring aspect of me towards animals. I don't know what it is. I always thought, because, most animals are innocent, and the abuse that a lot of them put up with, some are just mistreated, some are abused, some are taken advantage of, some are made to be other people's food. And whether you think of it in that way or not, that's up to you, and I'm not here to tell you how to think. But to me, I've always had a connection with animals. So to see that thing suffering the way it did, and the eye connection we had, it did affect me, and I don't regret that. It just means I have empathy and I'm human, and there's a lot of people that might have felt the same way. And if you're not one of those people, it doesn't make you a bad person. But I really feel that when we start thinking that we are superior just because we have a different way of living, that is, I think, one of the reasons why we're in the problems that we're in, and how governments throughout the world have destroyed environments. They chop down trees, they pollute the water, they pollute the air, all in the name of profit, because they view that our lives are more important than an animal's or a tree's. And what they seem to fail to understand, or just don't care about, is we all live together. I mean, if certain species on this planet no longer existed, it could change how we live on this planet, or if we live on this planet. Because, for example, if every tree died, it's going to be very difficult to have oxygen, or at least not in the same way it was. You know, if all the bees disappear, that could cause devastation, because they pollinate flowers. So we really should look at life not just as we are people, so we deserve to be dominant and to hell with everything else. We should start developing more empathy, because they've even discovered that trees have underground roots that all connect to each other, and they actually send each other electrical not messages, but signals. And how is that, if you think of it, how is it any different from how our brain works in the basic form of it nothing being more than just electricity? So we're all, in my opinion, connected. And if we just have this, blase blah attitude towards other species, and they start going because of our arrogance or because of our ignoring, who knows what consequences that could have for this planet and us as a species on this earth. So I understand that people are going to consider themselves priorities. There's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, everything when it comes to life is about self-preservation. But if, for example, if lions ate every single bit of their cattle or whatever they eat, and there's nothing left, well, they starve to death. If elephants ate every single bit of vegetation, there would be nothing more for them to eat. So it all has to come with balance. And I think with modern technology, we start to forget about things like that. We're used to the fact that if we want food, we don't go out and hunt it. We don't go out and grow it for the most part. We go out to a store and purchase it. And when it comes to, for example, how cruel they are to animals, when it comes to the ones for food consumption, just imagine every movie you've ever seen where some alien life form in a movie comes and attacks people and they start eating them, or they start taking them over, how bad we feel and how angry it makes us feel. Just imagine, if you Google pig farms where they have these pigs that they grow genetically, and they jam thousands upon thousands of them in a space that's so limited that they can't even move. And when they go to the bathroom, they just go in the bathroom on the floor, and it just shoots out a chute, which they dump into what looks like a lake. If you don't think that has consequences of what we consume, it's a price that we're going to pay down the line. And I mean, I could understand if governments throughout the world, corporations throughout the world were trying to improve things. If genetically, they could have legitimately said, things like genetically modified foods and preservatives and artificial sweeteners and all these things, they could have actually gone in with the best of intention. But once they realize, and they have to, because if simple folk like me can get it, I am certainly sure that people with college degrees and, maybe even decades of experience would get this, that if those chemicals are affecting us in a negative way and they continue to use them, it's not making us better. That's why you see more and more people overweight, more and more people depressed, more and more people having birth defects. It's because of all the things we tend to look the other way on for the sake of profit. And that's one of the reasons, like, for example, especially when this channel started, I always talked a lot about gold and silver. And it wasn't about being wealthy. It was about preservation of wealth as an insurance. And that's one of the reasons why I don't get into Bitcoins. I mean, I don't even have one Bitcoin. I have like 0.7 millibits or something like that. But to me, I see some people, they're so worried about it because they're worried about, oh, look how much money I could make. And I think that's the problem, and it's a deeper level. So even though this video talked about the raccoon, it talks about animals in general and how we view other species and how it can affect the planet. It's all circle. And we need to really start considering more than just us. Because if we're the only things left on this planet, what do we eat? What do we drink? How do we live? And can we? So I understand something as simple as a raccoon. Most people are like, it's just an animal. It's, just kill it. Let it die. To me, I see it as another form of life. And if you think of even any religious person, if you think of life as being precious because it was created by technically or supposedly or in theory one God, well then wouldn't he or she or it love all of its creations? And if we just have no care about something else because it's different, or maybe just can't speak or communicate the way we can, and we abuse them and torture them and just ignore them, well, how does that make us look? So it's just me thinking on a deeper level, on a different level. It doesn't make me better, it just makes me different. There are people that will agree, there are going to be people that disagree. And if you could learn anything about my channel, it is about giving you the ability to maybe see things in a different perspective, in a different way, and getting to the point where you can draw your own conclusions. Because I'd like to think none of my videos are saying this is how you have to think, this is the way it absolutely is. I give alternative points of view, my own thoughts, because there are people that care about it. There are not many, and thanks to YouTube, they make it even less. But that's why with my channel, it's very, very hard to see it because some reason the image is like microscopic today. I don't know why. But underneath where it says born on 11/9/7, he says uniting the people one person at a time. And that's to me is important. And to me, all life should be viewed as precious. Not just because we could speak. Because, we do a lot of things that animals don't do. So how does it make us better? We rob from each other. We rape each other. Not everybody, obviously. A few bad apples do spoil the tree. We murder each other. We will hurt other people for entertainment. Animals do it to survive. Animals don't go around abusing others because it makes their day or they can make a profit off of it. So we're not exactly, if you look at how we are overall as a species, how are we any better just because we can talk and we have opposable thumbs? Or maybe we're just another life form and we should treat everything with respect. Otherwise, one day it's going to come back to bite us. It may not be today, it might not be tomorrow, it might be hundreds of years from now, but if you have children, and they're going to have children, you want to make sure their future is set, and if you only think about yourself, that could be dangerous for us as a species. So, that's all I really want to say. I don't want to get too deep. Obviously, if you've been watching my channel for a while, I will go on tangents, but they do have a purpose. You can agree with it or not. That's up to you. That's not for me to decide how you feel and how you think. And your viewpoints can absolutely be different. So if you do have different viewpoints and you'd like to share them, all I ask is just be civil. You don't have to agree all the time. And you don't have to spread hate either. But you can leave your comments, leave your voice heard. So I thank every one of you that take the time to listen to what I have to say and have asked questions. And I hope, if anything, maybe one of my videos will make you think in a different way, or maybe change your point of view or something. And that's why I continue to do it. So I want to thank you all for taking the time to listen. If you didn't hear the beginning, which was, like it says, update on the raccoon, once this uploads, you're more than welcome to listen from the beginning. And I hope you all have a wonderful night and no regrets. And if you have animals, especially as pets, be good to them. Treat them nice because it's just the better way to live, to treat things with respect. Thanks for watching.